I bundled biking and walking, and I did it just because this is all the time I have. But normally I would separate them and identify those places where they have interests in common and those places that are different. I'll note one difference. Bicyclists know they're bicyclists. They identify as bicyclists, and they join a club, they join a group, and they're a bike advocacy group. Pedestrians don't have that same kind of identity, so when they organize within their neighborhood groups. So the story I told about neighborhood associations, even though 35 of 35 neighborhood groups came up with pedestrian improvements, can't get across the street, that kind of thing, they didn't still see themselves as pedestrian advocates. They saw themselves as neighborhood advocates. So the whole dynamics between the two are fundamentally different. So it's a very, very good point. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, it's really different. The question is sort of the relationship between the state programs and the local programs, and the answer is it's really different state to state. Some states own a lot of the roads. So if you're in North Carolina, almost any arterial street you're on is owned by the state. So you're going to have a completely different kind of dynamic than in the town I live in. I think there's only 2 streets in the entire town that have the state owns the roads. The rest of the city owns every road in this. And so the whole dynamic of where the money flows and where you put your energy is going to be different. So the more roads that the state owns and the more money that stays at the state level, the more you're going to have state groups and collaboration. In a lot of big urban areas where there's almost no state roads, the state has less influence. So it'll define your strategy. So it's a good point. Okay, go ahead.
How do we move the middle further, tying together the whole